Hey, what's up everybody, it's your boy Prof with a video from TierZoo. I just found this dude, it's fucking awesome. He does like video game RPG shit, but with real life shit, like usually animals and shit. So we'll see. I watched like a vid, fucking cool as hell. So let's see this. Optimizing the snake build. Optimizing the snake build. Ooh. Oh, it's the fucking... Yeah, we watched this shit. The fucking shit, English work, brain work, whatever, the cute fuzzy rat shits killing snakes and eating them. I mean, they're lucky the fucking snake wasn't poisonous.
A lot of people have been asking me to do guides
Oy,
on
oy, oy.
specific builds, and I'm happy to oblige. Today, we'll talk about the most difficult of the reptile builds, the snake. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure why you'd ever want to try the snake build. Snakes are, in general, low tier, averaging in the D+ range. Not only that, but their gameplay is some of the most difficult content you'll ever experience. If you ask me, it's a little silly to use so many points to spec into the reptile faction and then opt to not have legs. With that said, even though most snake builds are low tier, if you really...
And that's why boys and girls do not use crack or any other kind of hard drugs.
spec into the reptile faction and then opt to not have legs. With that said, even though most snake builds are low tier, if you really know what you're doing, you can make one of the most formidable builds possible. Today, we'll go over the most viable...
Bruh, why does this thing look like a fucking dragon from D&D?
Today, we'll go over the most viable options as well as common
Looks like a
mistakes many
fucking
snake
final
players
boss,
make.
bro.
You have to be careful, since there are a lot of enticing skills that can end up wasting a perfectly good build in the long run. Let's begin by discussing the main traits, strengths, and weaknesses of your snake build.
Mobility
As
is that
previously
high?
stated, the most defining trait is opting to not give your character legs. This has a few benefits. It opens up a lot of unique movement options, like slithering, sliding, sidewinding, and even gliding in some cases. Access to secret areas of the map normally blocked off by tight access points become available to
Bro,
snakes.
that would be scary as fuck.
This can net more exclusive access to food, shortcuts, and escape routes. In my opinion, this doesn't fully negate the negatives of having no legs, but credit where credit is due, it's not the worst trade. But how can you maximize the evolution points you gain by dropping legs as a spec? Well, there are a lot of interesting options. Advanced tracking abilities, extremely potent venom, climbing, camouflage, the ability to traverse ocean, ability to scale walls, feign death, produce musk, the list goes on. But before you get too fascinated by the abilities of the snake class, be warned. There are only 3 competitively viable snake builds in the current meta. The rest, I'm sorry to say, are pretty unremarkable and no doubt low tier. Even the official game wiki refers to the typical most popular snake builds as a garbage group. So if you take anything away from this video, understand that vanilla snake builds are not worth your time. But I'm getting sidetracked. Let me get back to the 3 viable builds. I'll go through them one at a time from worst to best, as well as the special characteristics that make them so strong, and any
That's pretty much how you feel when you go paladin in World of Warcraft.
Shortcoming.
Fucking garbage.
they may have. The first viable snake build is the constrictor. This includes boas, pythons, and anacondas. It's the only snake build classified as a
Yo,
tank,
look at
with
that
high
defense.
HP and a thick, scaly hide. But more important than the snake's defense is its unparalleled grab game. A well-spec'd constrictor build can 0 to death any player they manage to grab. If we compare the constrictor's grab to other high-level grabs, we can see that it sits among the best grabs in the game.
Pac-Man. Opposable thumbs. Yo.
Now, the constrictor build is not perfect by any means. It's not low tier, but I'd say it maxes out around the bottom of B tier, for a few reasons.
It's pretty good.
Constrictor snakes are huge, and this comes at a cost to speed. Because of that, they need the element of surprise to secure a grab. The problem with that is, again, they're huge, so it's not easy to hide. And secondly, constrictors are a tank build, but completely lack the ability to deal with groups of enemies. Sure, they're pretty overpowered in a one-on-one situation, but a fully executed grab combo takes...
Bro, I'm pretty sure most things would be fucked in that situation. Like, Jesus Christ, that's like fucking 20 monkeys. Are those monkeys or apes?
a long time
I
to
have no
perform,
idea.
making it impossible to fight a group of hostiles, and will quickly be overwhelmed by a coordinated assault. Not much else to say about this build, so let's move on to number 2. The second most viable build is the Pit Viper. Unlike the Constrictor build, and also unlike most other garbage tier snakes, the Pit Viper class specs pretty deeply into the Venom
Garbage tier snakes.
build, and also unlike most other garbage tier snakes, the Pit Viper class specs pretty deeply into the Venom tree. But TierZoo, I hear you say. Didn't you rip on poison dart frogs for doing that? No, unlike the poison tree, the Venom tree is absolutely worth diving into. Poison is valuable for defense up to a certain point, but the thing to keep in mind is that you're always going to be at a negative if you actually have to use it, because for its effect to activate, you actually need to take a significant hit. Venom, on the other hand, is an offensive tool, which can allow its wielder to score.
Poison is this how they are actually classified? Like actual, like when you say venom and poison, is this the difference? Like venom is something you attack with, or I don't know how to fucking classify this shit.
Kills
That's
much
pretty
easier
interesting.
or defeat opponents that would otherwise be way out of their league. More powerful venom effects
Jeez.
only make you a more dangerous opponent, something to fear instead of something to avoid.
It's a fucking glass cannon
Anyways,
build.
Vipers are generally defined as having spec'd into 2 main abilities. The first is their venom. The venom tree is pretty diverse with a lot of interesting effects, but the Pit Viper
Tissue
build
dissolving.
chooses 2 of the most important effects available: hemorrhagic toxin and tracking compounds. The typical strategy of a Pit Viper player is to sit and wait for a target, which is aided by their high level camouflage, and to score a single hit before retreating. Hemorrhagic toxin is not a fast-acting venom type, but has extremely high raw damage over time. With that in mind, the second effect of the Pit Viper venom comes into play, the tracking
Oh,
compounds,
that was fucked up.
which create a trail to the downed player as they attempt to flee. This makes confirming kills easy to ensure that the Viper player never loses XP by getting its kill stolen. This makes leveling up easy and makes for relatively easy and rewarding gameplay. But if tracking wasn't enough, Pit Vipers also have a very special unique ability, Heat Vision. This ability completely negates the stealth bonus of darkness and camouflage, and makes it so targets just about never sneak past the player.
That's fucked
The
up.
negatives are few,
These guys are
one
OP.
being very low base HP and defense. Intimidation and stealth are really the only things preventing you from getting killed. So if a player with high resolve detects you, there's not much that can save you.
High resolve.
Remember, this class has slow acting venom,
Okay.
so it won't be able to kill something before it has the chance to kill you, or at least do some serious damage. All in all though, great build. Unique, fun, and powerful. I'd place them at the bottom of A tier. And finally, the best, most well-optimized snake build, the Cobra. Cobras are pretty similar to the Viper build, but a bit more well-rounded. While Vipers are more effective at stealth and critical strikes, Cobras are just an all-around more powerful class, excelling at both offense and defense, with a few unique abilities of their own. They are larger and therefore less stealthy, but bulkier and more heavily armored. And they also spec into the Venom tree in a different way that I believe is more well optimized for versatility. The venom of a Cobra is different than that of a Viper,
Paralysis.
in that while a Viper bite causes hemorrhaging, Cobras carry a potent neurotoxin. Neurotoxins are much faster acting than hemorrhagic toxins because they quickly induce paralysis, which results in suffocation instead of waiting for the victim to die from internal bleeding. This is important because it means a Cobra bite is much more effective as a defensive weapon as well as an offensive one. Cobra players rarely need to actually bite in self-defense anyway though, since they possess one of the most effective intimidate moves in all of Outside. A combo of flaring their cape and hissing, enough to drop almost any aggressor's resolve to 0. However, if this fails, a few advanced Cobra players have unlocked an extremely rare method of self-defense, a tactic which allows the player to deal damage while not putting themselves at risk, a ranged attack. The ability to deal damage and status effects over a distance is extremely powerful, and has only been unlocked a few times in the entire player base. The Cobra's ranged attack inflicts permanent blindness if it connects, rendering its target effectively helpless and doomed.
Oh.
The combo of versatile venom, excellent defensive options, and daunting
But these
intimidation
things are fucking OP. What do you mean permanent blindness?
effects puts the Cobra class in high A tier. So in summary, the three
Where the fuck are their cobras? Because that's where I am not gonna be. Fuck those things. Jesus Christ.
The best snake classes are constrictor, pit viper, and cobra, each with unique traits that'll.
God, I didn't know there was spitting cobras. What the fuck? Jesus, snakes becoming fucking a lot scarier than that. Oh, jeez, that was a fucking awesome video. Anyway, that was optimizing the snake build. The first video we're doing from TierZoo. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these. Cause this is fun as fuck. And it's educational shit. We're learning shit, bro. We're learning shit. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment down below if you have any suggestions. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Have a nice day.